Hey, what's up, Tail Bellman? And I'm back, and I hope you took the opportunity to answer those questions dealing with the first truth of life, that life is not fair. Life is not fair. And I hope that you had an opportunity to write in your journals and kind of do some self-assessment as we're about to transition into the next section, area two, which is going to be so what? So what? So now that I have this information, so what? I mean, since I have all these numbers, Mr. Bellman or Artel, that you gave me, and I looked at those situations and those elements. So where do I look at next? So we're going to do what we call so what? So what? And the truth, the number two truth that we're going to share in this is something that many of us don't like to hear, but it is the truth. Okay? The choice is yours which path you follow. The choice is yours which path you follow. Ultimately, guys, you have to make a choice on which path you will walk. Choosing the wrong path or simply ignoring or delaying your choice puts you in a default of being led by your circumstances, your situations, and your issues. And ultimately, it will make you a victim as well. You know, today we're going to talk about four actions that we can take, and based on those actions, we're either going to take path one, which is be a victim and allow your circumstances to control and be and ultimately become another statistic, or we can take path two, which is the sub-truth two, which is be a victor and an overcomer by excelling in the areas where you can. We can't consistently blame our mamas, our daddies, our environment, our community. All those things have a part to play in who we are and what we become. But eventually, we have to be accountable for ourselves. We have to make good decisions, or we're going to end up making um, ruthless and impactful decisions that are going to take us down the wrong path. So let's get started. On path one, we're going to be victims. We're going to allow our circumstances to control us and end up being another statistics. So here are some more stats for you. Nationally, Black Americans are incarcerated in state prisons or youth facilities nearly 5 times more often than our white counterparts. Nationally, Latin individuals are incarcerated in state prisons or youth facilities at a rate at 2 times more often than our white counterparts. In Alabama, more than 50% of the prison population is Black, although only 27% of the state population is Black. Almost 75%, if you do the math on that, of African Americans are in prison of the prison population are African American. Hey, many of their children repeat the cycle, becoming imprisoned fathers or abusive fathers based on what we talked about in the previous stats. However, there is some positives out of this. If you want to be a victor, if you want to be an overcomer, you have to excel where you can. So, in other words, you can't control your parents, you can't control your community, you can't control your poverty at this age, you can't control the finances at this age. But what you can do is take control of the things that you can control. Make choices over the things that you can choose. Hey, so I'm going to give you four areas that can help you do this. Okay. Uh, if you are 38% less likely to return to crime if you enter a positive outlet program, such as school activities, sports, church, after school programs. See what's available to you and take heed of those things. Based on where you are, see if there's some programs or situations that can help you, you know, don't repeat what you've already done. Okay. So in other words, figure out a way to control your anger. Figure out a way not to lose control. Okay, anger, aggression, control, training alone cause repeat offender rates to drop by 20%. Keep that in mind. Control that anger. Find tips and strategies. We even have the internet now. Find strategies that can help you manage your anger if you don't have the capability of getting into counseling programs or therapy. Hey, focus on improving your lives by focusing on your education. Hey, you're in school, whether it's elementary or high school, take advantage of that. Don't let that education get away from you. Don't become a statistic and fall and drop out. Persevere through that education. Find things that you want to learn and put in the work to do that. And then finally, locate supportive role models and remove many negative influences as possible. Hey, some of these influences we can't remove because they're family. Some of these influences are around us and they're not going to change. We have to be the ones to change, and we have to look for examples, look for role models that can teach us and help us learn. Whether they're positive individuals on the internet, whether they're successful people at your church, whether they're family members outside of your immediate family, locate supportive role models that can help you and push you towards the right things and the right directions. But now we're going to transition back into music as we talked about in the previous path. For generations, we've seen music reflect our fears, our questions, our frustrations. And here I can give you some additional examples of that music that that changed the society or changed our path, similar to how we talked about this music in the past. Sam Cooke had a Sam Cooke song, A Change Is Gonna Come, talked about racism and discrimination and pointed and became an anthem for civil rights. Otis Redding's song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, showed us that geographic discrimination isn't just in the South, but it's in the Pacific realm as well, in California, in San Francisco. Because racism and discrimination isn't just placed in one geographical area. Hey, Run DMC with their song Hard Times and It's Like That talked about classism, financial disparity, poverty, ghetto, and unfair housing. Hey, music has always shown us the way or given us or helped us tell a story of where we are and where we want to go. Hey, we're going to stick with those three songs that we talked about before and pick a different verse and see what it's trying to tell us about life and about our existence. Going back to Tupac from 1995 in his song Dear Mama wrote these words. And who would think in elementary, hey, I see the penitentiary one day and running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me and put a whip into my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed, a poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it. There's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand you are appreciated. This is from 1995. And what Tupac is saying in this verse, shifting from missing his dad and not having a dad and making bad decisions and doing thug life, he's saying now, hey, there's a price to pay for this. There's a price to pay for making bad choices. He ended up in the penitentiary one day when he was in school, in elementary school, and he took some stuff for granted, or even when he was um, in the School of Arts, the School of Arts on the East Coast, he learned some stuff, and he figured that that learning would keep him out of the penitentiary. But he still resorted back to some of the things that he saw when he was on the streets of LA and when he was in the streets of California. He realized that, running from the police and doing this stuff, even though his mom tried to correct him, he still fell into those vices. Even though his mom had substance abuse issues, he still saw her as a queen because she did the best she could with what she had. She tried to raise him the right way, and even though she had financial difficulty, even though she had drug issues, she still did the best she could. And sometimes in life, guys, we have to look at our parents and say, give them grace because they did the best they could based on what they knew and based on what the time would allow them to do. Let's move on. J. Cole in his song Breakdown says this. Yeah, he's serving time, locked down, and she don't want nobody to know. His daughter is 25 pounds. By the time he gets out, she'll be full. Now will his girl stay down? Ain't no doubt she loves him. Yeah, that's for sure. The temptation stays around. And if she strayed, how would he ever know? He'll never know. Damn, she done the best that she can. Her mama's telling her to find another man. She's educated with a felon boyfriend. That's what she's thinking. Tonight, maybe she's right. Here's a situation where, again, he shifts from his relationship with his father, who he hadn't seen for a minute. Now he's dealing with those females and those children who have been born through parents or through a father who's upstate, who's in jail for years. How his girl, who he fell in love with, is now struggling because he isn't there. She's struggling. She's getting advice from her parents or from her mom to move on, to get it, that guy, move on, stop thinking about him, and maybe she's considering, maybe now she's right. You know, hey, when you get in those state penitentiaries, when you get sentenced for jail time, you don't only impact you, you impact your children, you impact your spouse or your girl, and put them through a period of struggle and issues. And again, not only did the father have issues and he ran into issues, now the girl that he loved is running into issues. Now his children are going to run into issues because he is not there. It's just interesting, all the impacts and the generation impacts that happens when we do not do things the right way or make the right choices. Hey, Kodak Black in his song, Too Many Years, we're going to pick another verse out of that and see where he goes from there. Hey, I keep thinking about my boys. I think about my boys. I wouldn't keep on falling victim, lost up in the system. I miss my brothers and my sisters. I miss my little one. I know sometimes I be tripping, but I just miss my guys. I have codeine in my liver. I gave the judge a piece of me. I'm too street for the industry, but I think that's where I need to be because verbally, mentally, and physically, I keep that heat, and me and my brothers fit in. People keep trying to sentence me. How a young posted on the street, gonna call it Sesame Street till the death of me. Don't put your life in jeopardy. I swear, not a day goes by that I don't think about the times I wish I could rewind. So here, Kodak Black is switch shifting from his mama and the things that he's going through, and he's thinking about, man, I'm falling into this victimization. I'm falling into, the status quo. I've given these people I given these people, because of jail time, I miss them. I have a little one, and I miss them, and I'm tripping because I can't be with them. I miss these things because now I got codeine in my liver. I give the judge a piece of me because time can never be given back. And yeah, I'm in the industry, but I try to keep it discreet because he's trying to tell folks, don't do these things. At the end, again, he talks about that he wished he could redo it. Although he's strong mentally, verbally, and physically, he's telling his young brothers and sisters, hey, don't make these decisions. Don't put your life in jeopardy because life is precious. I swear, as the days go by, I don't think about the times I wish I could rewind. Hey, these guys are telling you, hey, things happen in life, but when you fall status quo and you continue to do them and you don't strengthen up, it not only impacts you, it impacts your family, it impacts your loved ones, and it impacts our community. And the second, I'm going to share with you how I walk through these situations and how these songs, even though they may have parental advisories on them and things of that nature, and I would wish we would change some of the language in them. They're telling us a story, and they're telling us the realism of what's happening in our society today.